Hey everybody, this is the second video this week about pranayama for balance, and I said I'd be making a video about Swara Yoga, which is a type of yoga, a type of meditation that involves breathing that can be described as brain breathing. It's a very interesting subject. So essentially, I'm going to post the foreword to the book that gives you a summary of what Swara Yoga is and how it can be used. But I'm also going to describe it here. And I went back and looked up my notes that I took when I was at the ashram. They're kind of hard to read, so I'm probably not going to share them, but I'll summarize them here. So essentially, this practice teaches you how to use your breath strategically to do life better, to get the most out of your actions, and to connect more strongly, supposedly, with like the universal energy or with what's going on around you, to be in tune with things. So let's start with the basic concepts. We breathe, we have two nostrils. That's an easy thing to understand. And the left nostril represents an energy channel called Ida, which we've talked about in relation to Hatha Yoga, the Ida and the Pingala. So the Ida, again, is associated with female energy, with the moon, and prana moves in and out of our nostrils. Prana, which is energy, and breath. So in this sense, we have some new words to introduce. So, okay. So the life force is called prana. The life force, the energy, the breath is called prana. In Swara Yoga, the right side of the body, which is all about the sun, male energy, action, is associated with that life force, that prana, that movement type of thing. And the left nadi, the left energy channel, nadi means energy channel, is associated with the mind, or chitta. Chitta is the word for mind. And so all things that are more subtle, that are happening internally, is associated with the left energy channel. So I'm just like glancing at my notes here. Basically, if you're thinking about what the two represent in the most basic terms, the left is the chitta, or the mind. So any thinking that happens is associated with the left nadi. And when you're in your left brain, when you're thinking, your physical body is less engaged. Your right channel, Pingala, is associated with action, or prana. Prana, which is the life force. So think about life force meaning action in this sense. So if your right energy channel is active, you're more likely to be doing something related to your body, such as exercise, or you're hungry and you're eating. And I'm glancing at my notes here again. If you're in a stressed state, or if you're angry, these things are associated with the right energy channel. When you're breathing out of both nostrils, both nadis, both energy channels together, that happens briefly as your breath shifts from one nostril to the other. But when you're breathing out of both, that's associated with meditation, with a calm mind, and with perfect balance. So that is associated with Atma, or the soul, or the spirit, the observer, that meditative state that allows you to feel like an observer. And then the other word that comes along with that balanced meditative state, where you're breathing out of both nostrils, activating both nadis, the keyword there is Sushumna, which is the energy channel that goes with your spine, so that like equal line down the center of your body, you're equally balanced. Okay, so those are some beginning, like, vocabulary words and basics. So the left energy channel, the nadi that's associated with thinking and the mind, controls the sensory nerves. So the eyes, the nose, the tongue, the ears, and the skin. Whereas the right energy channel, which is the Pingala, the prana associated with action and basically the physical body, controls speech, hands, feet, and reproductive and excretory organs. So things that are physical. And the Atma, which is associated with Sushumna, the central energy channel, that is the overall witness or controller. So some like ballpark ways to define these energy channels. So what does this mean practically? So this is where I think it's really interesting. So throughout the day, I guess when the sun comes up, if we're awake for the sunrise and we witness that, supposedly, you begin breathing out of both nostrils together because you're in a state of reset. So that's a really nice time for meditation, which is one of the reasons why in yoga they recommend you wake up before the sun. And then after that, you naturally shift to breathing out of one nostril or the other. And throughout the day, you will shift to the other nostril, one to the other. Having a thunderstorm here, it's really loud. About every 1.5 hours to 3 hours. And if you notice that you're shifting more frequently or less frequently, that can be a sign that you're about to get sick. I found that very interesting. So I remember now they were talking about that at the ashram. I had forgotten that. So that's an interesting concept. If we are able to really pay attention and track that, I would love to find out if that is true. If people can report back that they haven't. If they're getting sick, if they were able to detect anything beforehand. That would be an interesting study to do. So anyway, if your breathing is not shifting from one nostril to the other within the 1.5 to 3 hour time frame, can be a sign that you're about to get sick. And a way of avoiding that sickness and of creating balance to keep your body healthy is to force the air to switch within that time frame. So there are all kinds of techniques by which you can do that. Also, because these energy channels are associated with different types of actions or types of activities, I guess I should say, it can be advantageous to switch your breathing to another side, depending on what it is that you're trying to do. So let's start with meditation. If you're trying to meditate, the best state to meditate in is when you're breathing equally out of both nadis. Your mind is balanced and calm. But usually that's not the case. So if we're breathing out of our left side, our mind will be active and that may be distracting us. If we're breathing out of our right side, our body may be fidgety and that may be distracting us. So this alternate nostril breathing that we practiced earlier this week, that can help train your body to switch back and forth and to experience that momentary alignment between the two sides and can encourage balancing, can encourage breathing out of both nostrils. And there are ways to encourage breathing out of both nostrils, such as I think immersing yourself in cold water can spark that. So let me think. Okay, so let's say we want to breathe out of our left nostril because we want to do some mentally challenging tasks. Say we're about to do homework, we're about to do writing, we're about to use our mind, our chitta. We want to use the left energy channel, and we know that we are breathing out of our right nostril or we're feeling very active and fidgety. There are ways to switch your air to the left side. So this is what I think is very interesting. Or let's say we want to switch it to the right side because we want to be active. Say we want to clean up the big mess downstairs from all the kids that just threw all their toys everywhere. We need energy to do that. Or we want to go for a walk. We want to do something active and we are having trouble getting moving. We want to activate the right side. So there are ways to do that. So a couple ways to do it. I think I said it wrong in the first video. If we're breathing out of our right side, our right energy channel and our right brain is activated, the action side. If we're breathing out of our left nostril, our left nadi, our left energy channel, the left brain is active and our mind is active. So if we want our mind to be active, we want the left energy channel to be active, we can force ourselves to breathe out of the left side by closing the right nostril for about 5 minutes. And then supposedly that can create this natural breathing pattern out of the left side, activating the chitta and the ida nadi, the mind, the mental part of us. Another way to activate, let's focus on the left side. So we want to activate the left side. You can close your right nostril, or you could actually stick a cotton ball in your nose for an extended period of time, 5 minutes or so. Or you can lay. So, okay, the physical ways of shifting it are not related to the same nadi. So we're going to plug the right nostril to activate the left nostril. And to activate the left side of the body also, you're going to do something to the right side of your body. So you can hold a tennis ball under your armpit or put your fist there for about 5 minutes. And that may switch the energy channel to the left side, supposedly. You could also lay down on your right side, lay your whole body on your right side to activate your left energy channel. Something interesting that I jotted down here, which was very relevant when you're traveling in India. It may not be as relevant to you right now, but let me see, I'm trying to say this correctly. Okay, so the left energy channel, if you're breathing primarily out of your left energy channel, that's associated with your mind, with thinking and all of that, but it can also be associated with diarrhea. And that happens a lot in India. So if you have diarrhea, I found this interesting, you have to switch your breathing to the right side. And one way of doing that, well, some ways of doing that, like we said, you could close your left nostril, get yourself breathing, or you can lay on your left side, or you can hold a tennis ball under your left arm. And another recommendation is to put a cotton ball in the left nostril. They say if you do that for 20 minutes, it'll stop diarrhea. If anybody wants to test that and report back, that's interesting to me. Trying to decide if there's much else that I want to mention. There's a whole book about it that I would love to finish reading, but these are some basic concepts for essentially trying to tune into your energy channels, which energy channel you're primarily using, and how to align your activities with that, or shift your energy channel if you can't change the activities that you're trying to do. Something that I thought was another interesting thing is an experiment you can do is if you have a favorite song, if you play it at the top of the hour every hour, you may only really enjoy it every now and then throughout the day, because if you're breathing out of your left energy channel, the mental nadi, that is associated with likes and dislikes because you're in your mind, whereas the right side is more physical and you're not going to respond so much to the things that you like. So if you happen to be breathing out of the right side when a song that you really like plays, you may not respond to it as deeply as you will if you're breathing out of the left side. So I thought that was another interesting point. There's a lot to this, and I hope it's not too scattered, but I think these concepts are really interesting. So I guess the takeaway is, to like potentially adopt this into your life. You could take a moment now and then, especially if you know that you're trying to accomplish something that is mentally focused, left energy channel, or physically active, right energy channel. You could take a moment and notice by breathing on your finger which side of your nose you're breathing out of. And then you can say, okay, I'm breathing out of the right side of my nose. My Pingala nadi is activated. I'm feeling active. All things prana, all things active will go well right now. So if you have the opportunity to change your schedule, you're feeling like active instead of studious, you may decide to go do something active for an hour or so, because in an hour, you'll probably be breathing out of the other energy channel. You may feel more studious, and then you can go do the work that you have to do. Or if you can't modify your schedule, you have to go to class, you have to do a test, for example, and you are breathing out of that right energy channel, you can try actually to shift the breath, shift your prana, shift your breath to the Ida nadi that's associated with the mind, by holding your nostril closed for 5 minutes, by laying on the opposite side of the nadi you're trying to activate, or by holding something under your armpit for 5 minutes or so. And you may notice you're able to shift the breath to the side that is going to be useful for you for the activity that you're trying to do. Likewise, you know, if you have to go exercise, you have a gym class or you have like a walking date with somebody and you're not feeling like it, feeling more like watching a movie, which is more mental, more left brain, and you need to shift your energy, you may close your left nostril for 5 minutes or lay on your left side or hold something under your left to activate the right energy channel. And you can check it by breathing and seeing where the air is flowing. And you may find that your feelings change and you feel more active after shifting to the Pingala nadi. So I hope you found this interesting. I find it very interesting, and I think there's a lot of interesting kind of like experimentation that could happen along with it. And I think it's so insightful and smart that some people have noticed these patterns and caught on to them and come up with ways of manipulating our airflow to affect our brain and to take advantage of the two sides of the brain and the way those affect our body and our actions and our mind. And a lot of these like yoga sciences came about a long, long time ago. I think what I read is, more than 25 years. So this may have started in about the 70s or so. I might want to double check that. So maybe sort of a new technique, new in the realm of yoga, which is like thousands of years old. But it's a very insightful thing. And I think Western science could begin to explore it if we can find, there are ways of measuring brain activity. And so if there's an easy way to measure which nostril you're breathing out of, I just think that will be so interesting. Okay, that's it for this video.